There's a weariness that sleep cannot cure. It settles heavy beneath your ribs, aching in the exact place where your hope used to live. You've done everything right, kept your faith, stayed patient, held on. Yet you still feel stranded in the waiting room of your own life, wondering if heaven simply skipped your name. But what if heaven hasn't skipped you at all? What if this profound emptiness isn't abandonment, but excavation? A master builder never raises a cathedral on a fragile foundation. God hasn't forgotten you. He is dismantling the limits of your past to make room for a calling your old strength was never built to carry. Because God does not rebuild you after the breaking. He rebuilds you inside it. Part 1. You are not falling apart, you are being emptied. You know the feeling. You wake up, and the first thought isn't hope, it's weight. The weight of a relationship that never healed, a dream that stalled, a prayer that seems to bounce off the ceiling. You keep showing up, keep pushing through, but underneath the noise there's a quiet voice asking, how much longer can I do this? That's not weakness. That is a soul being stripped of everything it was depending on besides God. When we hit the wall of total exhaustion, something profound happens. The ego, the part of us that believes it can control outcomes, manage perceptions, and manufacture its own strength, finally collapses. It feels like a breakdown. Heaven calls it a breakthrough. Because only when our false strength fades does our true, deeper self surface. We see this with Peter on the Sea of Galilee. He stepped out of the boat full of borrowed courage. But when the storm raged and the waves rose, his strength failed. He was sinking and couldn't keep his head above water for one more second. Notice what Jesus did. He didn't wait for Peter to swim back to the boat. He didn't wait for him to find his composure. Jesus reached out and caught him right in the sinking. God doesn't wait for you to pull yourself together. The bottom of your strength is the exact place where his hand finally reaches you. You cannot furnish a room that is already cluttered. For years, you've been filled with your own efforts, your own planning, your own striving. Your exhaustion has simply cleared the room. It has created the space God needs to step in. You are not falling apart. You are being emptied so he can fill you with a strength you could never carry on your own. Before I continue, I want to be honest about something most messages like this skip over. Not every kind of exhaustion is purely spiritual. Some weariness is the soul being stretched. But some weariness is your body and mind sending signals that you need help prayer alone cannot replace. If you have been losing sleep for weeks, if dark thoughts visit you often, if you cannot function the way you used to, please hear me. Talk to a doctor. Talk to a counselor. Reach out to someone you trust. Faith and professional help are not enemies. Elijah needed an angel, but he also needed food and sleep. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is care for the body and mind God gave you. Part 2. God is not silent, he is relaying the foundation. You used to feel God so clearly in worship, in prayer, in the small moments of the day. And then one season, it all went quiet. Peace stopped coming easily. Scripture felt flat. You started wondering if anything you said was even reaching heaven. That silence has a name. Spiritually, it's called the dark night of the soul. Psychologically, it's a period of internal restructuring where the old frameworks you used to understand yourself and God are no longer sufficient, and new, deeper ones haven't formed yet. It feels like loss. It is actually an upgrade. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah, one of the mightiest prophets who ever lived, sat under a tree and begged God to let him die. He was burned out and convinced he was the last faithful person left. What did God do? He didn't lecture him. He let him sleep. He sent an angel to feed him. And then, in the quiet after fire and wind and earthquake, he spoke in a still, small voice. But notice something we often miss. After Elijah heard that gentle whisper, God told him a truth that changed everything. I have reserved 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed to Baal. 1 Kings 19:18. Elijah thought he was alone. He wasn't. And neither are you. This is one of the great lies of exhaustion. It convinces you that you are the only one carrying this weight, the only one whose faith has dimmed, the only one still trying. You are not. There are 7,000 others walking through their own quiet seasons right now, asking the same questions you are asking. The silence you're experiencing may be God rebuilding the very foundation of how you hear him. He's not constructing a new room in your life. He's relaying the bedrock. And foundation work is always slow, always invisible, always underground. Part 3. You are not stuck, you are being formed. There's a lie the enemy loves to plant in seasons of waiting. Nothing is happening. That because you can't see movement, there is no movement. You look at your life and compare it to where you thought you'd be by now. The job, the family, the breakthrough. And it feels like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still on a road that goes nowhere. But seeds don't look like trees while they're growing underground. Human life forms in the dark. Before a baby is born, there are 9 months when the world sees nothing. The mother feels everything, the discomfort, the shifting, the growing weight, but from the outside, it just looks like waiting. Inside, in the hidden place, something extraordinary is being formed. Organs, a heartbeat, a face, a life. We are often in the gestation phase, mistaking it for failure. We want to see results before the forming is finished. But God is not slow, he is thorough. History whispers this same truth. When Mother Teresa's private letters were published after her death, the world discovered that for nearly 50 years, she walked through profound spiritual darkness, feeling no presence of God, hearing no voice. And yet, during that exact silence, she became one of the most luminous human beings of the 20th century. The absence of feeling is not the absence of formation. In Isaiah 40-31, those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. The Hebrew word for wait, kavah, doesn't mean passive sitting. It means to bind together, like twisting strands into a cord. While you wait, God is twisting every broken thread of your life into something unbreakable. What looks like stagnation from the outside is sacred formation on the inside. Part 4. Surrender is not defeated, is the doorway. Don't leave the process early, because this process is doing something far deeper than just changing your situation. We often pray for God to change our circumstances, but God is almost always more interested in changing us. You are asking God to move the mountain, but God may be asking you to let him change the person who will stand on the other side of it. You want relief, he wants roots, and roots grow deepest in the soil that presses hardest against them. Think about the most unshakable people you've ever known, the ones with a peace that doesn't make sense, the ones who can face devastation and still carry light. They didn't get that from comfortable seasons. They got it from the fire, from the refining, from the very kind of season you are in right now. Romans 5 says suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. Notice it doesn't say suffering produces suffering. It produces a chain reaction that ends in hope. Your pain is not the destination, it's the process. God is not rebuilding your life around you. He is rebuilding you from within so your life can carry the weight of the calling he has placed on it. The new season you're asking for requires a version of you that doesn't exist yet. 3 practices for the season you are in. You don't just need to be told to surrender. You need a way to actually do it. 3 small practices have helped many through this exact season. 1. Keep a buried list. Each evening, write down one small thing that happened that day. A moment of peace, a kind word, a prayer that felt slightly less heavy. You're not tracking miracles. You're training your eyes to see roots growing where the surface still looks empty. 2. Practice a nightly release. Each night, name one thing you've been gripping too tightly. Then pray, God, I am not strong enough to carry this. I release it into your hands tonight. 3. Refuse to walk alone. Find one person who knows what season you're in. A trusted friend, a pastor, a counselor. Isolation deepens exhaustion. Honest connection lightens it. Remember, Elijah thought he was the last one. There were 7,000 others. There are 7,000 others for you too. Find even one of them. Let me speak to you for a moment as someone who knows what it feels like to be where you are. You've been strong for so long. You've held things that were never yours to hold. You've smiled when you were drowning, encouraged others when your own spirit was barely breathing. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe you had become too much even for God. Hear this clearly. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. The exhaustion you feel is not punishment. It means God is close enough to do the deep work. And that work requires stillness, long enough for healing to reach the source. You are not a withered seed. You are still beneath the soil, and what is hidden is not what is dead. This is a message about trust at the deepest level. Trust that says, even when I cannot see what you're doing, I believe you are doing something. Trust that holds on not because everything feels certain, but because He is. Let your exhaustion stop being a source of shame and start being a place of surrender. Because it is in your surrender that God's strength finally has full access to every room of your life. Transformation doesn't happen in the moment of comfort. It happens in the moment of surrender. It happens when you finally say, God, I cannot do this, but you can, and I trust you. You are not at the end, you are at the turning point. And turning points, though painful, are the most sacred places in any story, including yours. There is a weariness that sleep cannot cure, but there is also a strength that exhaustion cannot reach. And He is bringing it to you, even now. Keep going. He is not done with you, not even close. If this message reached something deep in you today, drop a word in the comments, even just rebuilding, so I know who this found today. If it brought you peace, share it with someone who might be at their breaking point. And if you'd like to keep walking through these seasons together, subscribe and turn on notifications.